Welcome. So today's episode, we are thrilled to have a truly remarkable guest, Diana Corbin, and is an accomplished open water swimmer and has not only swam the Triple Crown of open water swimming, but has also inspired many with her dedication and practice to the sport. Born and raised in Southern California, Diana has always had a deep connection with the ocean. Her swimming career is filled with impressive feats, including the marathon swims across the English Channel, the Catalina Channel, and around Manhattan Island. Today, she's here to share her journey, her highs and lows in her training, and some invaluable advice for anyone looking to dive into the world of open water swimming. Diana, welcome.
Thank you, Mark. It's great to be here with you.
Fantastic. So how are you doing at the moment?
Doing okay, doing okay. I'm swimming again. I wasn't swimming for a while. I was having some minor health issues last year that just kind of kept me out of the water, but
Mm,
I'm really happy to be back in it now. And the water is warming up, which is always wonderful. Although I'm not afraid of cold water either. I swim in all water, no matter how cold. So
mm,
it's fun, but I get more people and more company in warm water. So
I
most
bet.
people don't like the cold water so much. So it's more fun to swim with other people. So I do enjoy that. And I'm volunteering and swimming with an organization called One with the Ocean here in LA.
Oh,
They're based in LA and also in San Diego. And it's mostly an open water swimming club, but we also do outreach to underserved youth to take them to the ocean and to help them to experience that amazing, beautiful, wonderful nature that we have just off the coast.
oh, fantastic.
And so it's fantastic to be able to help these kids to experience that who would not normally have that opportunity. So we're working with some of the underserved youth in the community as well in LA and San Diego. So it's a great organization. Highly recommend looking into it if you're local. Come swim with us on the weekends in LA or San Diego. And yeah, so when I finished my Triple Crown, I just decided that I didn't really want to swim anymore unless it was just for fun.
Mm,
So that's what I do now. I just swim for fun and I enjoy it a lot.
yeah, that sounds really rewarding. Quick question. So how did you get into what's called marathon swimming? How did you get into this?
Okay, so it started with one simple, tiny little question. What is the bay swim? And so I asked that question in, let's see, it was the fall of 2003 when I was living in Maryland.
Mm,
And I had just joined a US Masters swimming team at the University of Maryland.
mm,
And it was in the fall, it was October, November-ish. And at that time in 2003, the Great Chesapeake Bay Swim, which is 4.4 miles across the Chesapeake Bay, it was time to sign up for that swim. And so everybody was talking in the locker room after swim practice. Everybody kept talking about the bay swim, the bay swim, the bay swim. I was thinking, what's the bay swim? So that's where my open water journey began with that simple little question. Anybody who's on the East Coast or in Maryland or DC knows all about the bay swim. And so my swimming career started with that. I did that swim for the first time in 2004. I attempted it. I did not finish. And I was so mad that I started training the next day for the following year because I was so mad I didn't finish. Um, I wasn't nearly as prepared as I thought I was for that. It was 4.4 miles, and it was a tough swim that year. The conditions were bad, and it was a tough swim. Um, but yeah, so I just started training the next day, basically for the following year because I was hooked. I was hooked on open water at that point. So,
So
and then
what
I
is
just
training?
started,
Go ahead, sorry.
and then I just started getting into other, smaller swims. Doing other open water events, finding other open water events. Because I was a native from Southern California, I would come here often enough and I would find swims to do here and there and, just kind of started doing other swims. And when I would travel for work, I would do swims in other countries. And so it was just
Wow.
an opportunity to experience a whole other part of the culture.
Wow. So what does training look like for an open water swim? I mean, it's completely different from a pool.
Well, it is the distance, and it really depends on the person. Um, so for me, it was a lot. I mostly was training in the pool because I didn't have access to open water in Maryland. Most of the year in Maryland, the Chesapeake Bay gets quite cold, and so you can't really train during the winter. And so I would train in the pools, and I was doing, up to like 30,000 yards a week in a pool just to, get to my baseline. Um, and then I would increase that as I was getting into bigger swims. But yeah, so it's similar to training in a pool because you have to train in the pool. But at least when I was living there, if I were doing the same thing here now that I live in California, I think my training would be completely different
Mm,
because the pools are too warm in the summer, and I would be doing a lot more swimming in the ocean, I think, if I were to do something like that now. But I was working full time and traveling a lot. I worked for the World Bank in DC and I would travel a lot. And I didn't always have access to pools or oceans when I would travel. So I mostly did my training here in the US when I was home in Maryland. And I would train in the mornings. I had permission from my boss to get to work like at 10 o'clock. So I could swim for like 2 hours in the morning and then still get to work, and work late, of course. Um, and so it was a long process, which is another reason I'm not doing it now.
mm,
Once I did that Triple Crown, I was like, okay, I'm done now. And now I really am focusing on helping others.
mm,
Um, and I'm helping to organize a Catalina relay swim this year for 6 women who've never done it before. And I just really want to be an inspiration to others and to help others and mentor others. I'm not a coach, I'm not a swim coach. I'm not going to give you tips on training or, build a workout for you, but I can help you in other ways and help to motivate you and inspire you and I love doing that. Love doing that, especially for older women of a certain age like myself. It's really exciting to see that light come on and to see them get so excited about this opportunity and this adventure.
beautiful. So you had that one race on the East Coast. Why the English Channel? Why Catalina? Why around New York?
Okay, so um one day my swim team friends and I watched a movie on I think it was a rental at that time. I don't remember how we accessed it. It was before we had all the Netflix and everything. It's a movie. It's a great movie. I highly recommend it. It's called On a Clear Day. I don't
Mm,
know if you've ever heard of it. But it's really a nice story about a guy who wants to swim the English Channel. And I was after we watched that movie, my friends were all like, "Oh man, that's crazy! That's crazy!" And I'm like, "I want to do it." And and then, and then somebody I was talking to someone and I told them that I was from California originally. And they said, "Oh, you should do the Catalina channel instead of the English channel. If you're from California." I was like, "Well, yeah, I grew up going to Catalina and I could see Catalina off the coast. So
mm,
yeah, why not?" So I started they introduced me to someone who actually became one of my best friends. Her name is Claudia. And so Claudia had just done Catalina like a year or so before. And
mm,
so Claudia and I organized a Catalina relay in January. And the water was really cold. But it was really fun. And after the relay, that was January 2008. And after the relay, I really, really wanted, I had the bug. I was like, that wasn't
mm,
enough. I want to do a solo.
mm, mm,
And so I thought, oh, I really want to do this. And I was talking to Claudia and others, And they're like, well, the channel's not going anywhere, whenever you're ready to start training for it, whatever. So I kind of put it off for a couple of years because I was busy with work and everything. And then I guess around 2010, I had some great losses. I lost a family member, and then a good friend, and it was just like one of those aha moments where, okay, life is really short, you know, and you just never know what's going to happen next.
mm,
And you have to, if you have these dreams or you have this vision, you have to pursue it now, not later. You have to do it now. And so I was like, okay, I'm not going to put this off any longer. I'm going to make a plan. I'm going to do it. In 2013, I'm going to do Catalina. So I made the plan and just started working at it day by day, little by little, 3 years later, and it all came to. But it's just, I think I was just really struck because that was the first time I had lost a close friend, someone my age, that
mm,
I was just really devastating.
mm,
And it makes you think, it really makes you think that life is just too short. So
mm,
um yeah, so that's why. And then Catalina took so long, and it was so hard to train for, and just 3 years, it just consumed my life for 3 years. and
mm,
and when it was finally over, when I finally did it, I was like, oh, I don't want to think about swimming for a while. And I didn't swim for like a year. And my friends kept telling me, and I went through that depression. A lot of people don't realize it, but after big events like that, and, marathons and triathlons and Ironman, there's a real letdown
mm,
depression that can hit really hard. And it hit me so hard. It was so hard. And I was like, what do I do? How do I snap out of this? And my friend was telling me, well, maybe try yoga or knitting or something like that. And I was like, okay. And I did. I tried
mm.
I tried both of those things, but then I found roller derby. And I was like, oh my God, roller derby is so much fun. Because I used to love skating when I was little. I was like, okay, this is a new obsession for me. So this is fun. And so I started training for roller derby, and that was really fun for a while until I broke my ankle.
Mm,
And and then I was like, okay, well, skating's still fun, but I got to rehab this. And so when I started rehabbing my ankle, I went back into the
the
pool,
pool.
and I remembered my first love, which was
Mm,
swimming. So,
wow.
and so I started swimming again. I was still skating some, but mostly started swimming again. And a couple of years late, a couple of years after Catalina, people kept asking me, "Oh, when are you going to do the English Channel?" And I was like, "I'm not, I'm just not."
Mm,
And then in 2016, I thought maybe I will. Why not? And so I sent in my application and my deposit. You had to pay like a 300-pound deposit or something but I couldn't get anything until 2019. I wanted to do it in 2018 when I turned 50, but 2019 was the soonest I could get. So I thought, okay, another 3-year plan. Here we go. And if I decide, 3 years from now, I decide I don't want to do it, I'm only out the $300 deposit. No big deal. So
right.
so I did it, and I don't think I told my family I was doing it. I just wanted to pay the deposit and see how life went, for the next 3 years. So, um, and then the 3 years came around, and I ended up getting downsized from my job, and in 2018. And so I was like, "Well, this is perfect because I won't be working next summer," and then I found out that I could do Manhattan just a month before I did the English Channel.
Oh,
So I
wow.
thought, well, I'll already be trained up. I
Mm,
might as well. So I scheduled the swim around Manhattan for, in July, and then I was going to England in August. So it was perfect. And it worked out really great because I wasn't working anymore. And, I got to do Manhattan, and then I went to England for the English Channel, and it just all worked out well. So
So do you have to, so you had to send in your money. Do you have to have like a permit? Do you swim alone? Are you joining a group?
no,
Like how
it's a
does that
solo.
work?
So you have to reserve the boat, and it's a solo swim, right? So you're the only swimmer in the water at the time, but you have to have a boat to guide you across and to also feed you. They stop and feed you every 30 minutes to 45 minutes, depending on the swimmer. Everyone uses a different timeline. And they also have to have an official observer on board. So the official observer is from you get a sanction from one there in the English Channel. There are two bodies that sanction swims. There's the Channel Swimming Association and the Channel Swimming and Piloting Federation. And so I went with CSMPF, the Channel Swimming and Piloting Federation. And so you have to pay for the boat, and you also have to pay for the sanction for the swim to have the official observer on board. And then within a year of your swim, you have to have a physical exam, and you have to have a doctor's note saying that you're healthy enough to attempt this. So, and you have to do that for Catalina as well.
So are you just swimming in a bathing suit? Are you swimming in a wetsuit? Are you spreading duck fat on you to keep you warm? Like, what's the story there?
Okay, it's one swimsuit, a porous material, also one lycra swimsuit, one swim cap, and goggles. That's it. That's
That's
all
all
you
you're
can wear.
allowed. No
Yeah, you're not even
watch.
allowed
No.
to wear a watch anymore. No,
Wow.
they've changed those rules. So no wetsuits allowed at all. That's part of the training is to get acclimated to the cold water. And yeah, so you no, that's all. That's all you can wear.
So what do you do to acclimate yourself? Like I understand, I didn't realize that you could actually get hypothermia in warm water, that, it's just a fluctuation in your body temperature.
Right.
So how do you actually prepare to swim in different temperature waters?
You swim in different temperature water. So in Maryland, the water gets too warm in the summer. So my friend and I would travel up north to Connecticut and Rhode Island to get colder water. So we would go north to get coldest water we could find. When I did Catalina, I came to California for 2 months before my swim, and I was swimming and training here for 2 months beforehand, just to be able to have that exposure to the cold water, because it takes time to get used to it, to get acclimated,
Mm,
and to be able to tolerate it for long enough to complete the swims.
wow. Wow. And so you sign up, you have your day, it's rain or shine, right? It's windy, whatever, correct? You just got to do it.
It depends. Okay, so for Catalina, most times, 99% of the time, when you select your day, that's the day you swim. Unless it's really bad. And the weather in California is much nicer than in the English Channel. So in Catalina, it was 99% of the time, that's the day you swim. For the English Channel, however, there's a thing that we call the Dover coaster. So for me, I was on the Dover coaster,
Mm,
which means that it was this kind of a roller coaster ride waiting for the weather to cooperate. I was waiting around for an extra 10 days before I got to swim.
wow.
And most people can't do that.
Mm,
Like I said earlier, I wasn't
bless
working, so it was okay. Um, but most people can't wait around extra time. And even because you are given a window, you have a window with your pilot. So you select a window and you go to England and you're there and you plan to be there for at least that amount of time. And so my best friend actually swam on the first day of her window. We were on the same window um, on different boats. So she swam on the first day of our window, and I didn't swim until the last day of the following window because the weather was so bad. And my captain wasn't going out that day. Her captain took her out and she was fine. She succeeded. She made it across, but my captain was not going out that day, so I didn't get a chance to do it. And luckily, I wasn't working, so it all worked out well.
Mm.
And I told them, I told everyone, I'm not leaving Dover until I get a chance to swim. But yeah, the English Channel can be. I know of people who have gone there and waited around for 2 weeks and never got to swim and just had to leave. For work reasons, family reasons, whatever, they just can't wait. And the weather is so bad that the boats aren't going out and they never get their chance to swim, which is heartbreaking when you've put in
Yeah.
all that training and expense and everything. It's heartbreaking. So,
Wow. Wow.
but it does happen, unfortunately.
So, what about marine life? You're not scared of
No,
guys in green in gray suits swimming around in there?
no, no, no. I mean, I never saw any. They might have seen me, but we
Right.
have an understanding. We leave each other alone.
There you go.
I see a lot of, we've seen dolphins and a lot of rays swimming below. And when I go to La Jolla and swim in La Jolla, we see turtles sometimes. And of course, the Honu and Maui and Oahu are just amazing.
Mm,
Love it. Um, I love turtles. And when I was in Maui in March, it was whale migration season. We saw lots of whales, and I could hear them when I was swimming in the
mm,
ocean. I could hear them when I was diving. I'm a scuba diver also, and I could hear them. And I never saw them actually underwater or anything, but I could hear them. They're just so amazing. I love it. And I saw some little sharks and stuff, and I think it was in Maui when we went out to Molokini.
mm,
Um, but yeah, I love it. I love it. I love the wildlife. I go looking for them, so
mm.
I love them.
So there's a kinship for sure. So
Absolutely.
you sign up, it takes about 3 years before you get to go. Just swimming it in general, they're about what, 20, each one's about 20 miles, right?
Yeah, so Catalina and the English Channel are both about 21, 22 miles. And Manhattan is actually 28 and a half miles around, but it's more current assisted. So you have, it's much shorter. The time, it takes a lot less time.
Gotcha.
So,
So
mhm.
it must take incredible mental fortitude, not only to train, to commit, you got to have family sacrifices, all kinds of things, and then just the no quit attitude. Is this something that you've always had? Is this a part of your character? Is this something you developed over the years?
I think I always had it. But it really, like you said, that's what it takes. So you really have to develop it. And I
Mm,
think that anyone can do this, honestly.
mm,
People say, oh no, I could not. No, you really, if you wanted to, you could. You really could. It's not rocket science, it's just having that dedication and
mm,
that commitment and that passion. And honestly, for me, a lot of times it was just like, oh, I'm tired. I didn't sleep well last night. I just want to lay here with my cat. I don't want to get up, you know. But I just had to say my motto was and still is just do it anyway,
mm,
you know.
mm.
You're tired. I don't care. Do it
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah,
You're tired. You didn't sleep well. Too bad. Do it anyway. Swim tired. That's really good training because you're going to be tired, you
yeah.
know. So, if you're tired, swim anyway. If you're hungry, eat something and then go swimming.
Mm,
It's like I always made a plan. I had my swim plan. And
mm,
I still have an Excel sheet since 2003. It has like every every lap I've swum is in there. So,
mm,
um, but I would make targets each day. You just break it down each day, each week, what your target is, and you just work toward it.
mm.
And you just do it anyway.
Yeah, and then I guess the more you do it, the more habitual and ritualistic it becomes, and the easier and you know the reward of going, yeah, well, let's just do it today instead of lying in bed. You probably have more, of a downward spiral of staying in bed and not doing it than you would having done it, right?
I used to say, well, I never regret going swimming. I only regretted not going. Right. So, and a lot of people I think can relate to that. And you'll never regret, going for your run or going for your ride or whatever it is, but you might really regret not going.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Yeah, I had a painting teacher many years ago saying that jogging wasn't the hard part. It's putting the shoes on and getting out the door. Once he got out the door, it was easy.
exactly. Exactly.
It's just putting those shoes on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, wow, this is really fascinating. So every 20 minutes to a half hour, they feed you, right? Or you, depending on the person, right? So I thought we weren't supposed to go in the water until 2 hours after a meal. I guess you guys have proven that whole tale wrong.
And they feed. We say feeds, but really what it is for me, I don't use any solid feeds. I only use liquid, so liquid carbohydrates or, electrolytes, whatever. I only use liquid. My stomach can't handle
Right.
solids.
Yeah.
Other people use, some people use solids. Some people use like boiled potatoes and cakes and cookies and cupcakes or whatever, whatever floats your boat. But for
Yeah.
me, it's just solids. It's just liquid. So
Mm.
yeah. But everybody stops like 30 to 45 minutes, depending on the person.
And you just stop at that point, take your liquid, and keep going. You're not taking like a because you're trying to keep a time too, right?
Right, right, yeah, and especially depending on the conditions, if you stop for too long, you're gonna lose ground. You're gonna lose forward momentum because you'll get pushed back by the tide or the currents or
Mm.
whatever. So, you want to keep your feeds as quick as possible.
Wow,
It's always the goal.
what a beautiful metaphor for life. If you stop too long, you may be pushed back.
Yeah, it's true. So true. Right?
Keep that forward momentum going, get that ball down the field. Wow. So, yeah, do you have like I watched this Instagram video a friend sent me yesterday about this swimmer that he follows, and the guy said that he had a certain way of taking his breaths, and he tried to rotate side to side so that he didn't get a stiff neck. I mean, is there such a thing in your practice, your training, or
I think we all try to work on the best technique that we can. Even Michael Phelps, I think, worked on his technique, and Katie Ledecky still works on her technique, I'm sure. Um, I think that finding what works for you. For me, I only breathe to one side. I know you're supposed to breathe on both sides, but I get dizzy if I breathe to the left, so I only breathe to the right.
interesting?
So far, I've been lucky, and that's worked out with my boats. My boat captains, they've been okay with being on my right side, so it works out for me. But yeah, it's always work on your technique. I think we're always working on our technique,
For sure.
trying to get stronger and faster if we can. Fast is never an issue for me. I've never been fast. I never will be fast. But I just want to be able to keep going. So
Never giving up.
whatever's a comfortable pace for you, what I call the channel pace, the pace you can continue for an entire channel, that's what you should work for.
Yeah, this is actually inspiring for me. I tried, my brother was here in like 2016, 2017, and we were on the North Shore, and I scored a pair of Duffins, like the lifeguards. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna start open water swimming. The first time I tried it, I'm like, I can't do this. Every time I tried to breathe, water would get in my mouth, the wave would hit. Have yet to figure it out.
Okay, well, I'm gonna be in Oahu in a week or two. So we'll get together, we'll go swimming.
Yes, that'd be great. My friend Nye has some questions for you too, because he's training to become a lifeguard. Um,
Okay.
and I don't know how much of a swimmer he is. He's an old football player, so we'll
Hmm.
see. He's gonna drop some pounds. Um, So that's an interesting thing. So does body weight matter?
Not really. That's one of the beauties of open water swimming. I mean, I know marathon swimmers who are tight and fit and skinny, and I know others that are like me and just, carrying some extra weight. It really doesn't matter. Um, a little extra weight can help you with acclimation. They say. I don't know if
Mm,
it helps me because when I lose weight, I don't get cold. So I don't
mm,
know if it hurts or helps. I don't know.
mm,
But
mm,
the water is a great equalizer. Um, it's, you can have, you know, and what I love about swimming too is it's endurance based,
mm,
I mean, unless you're in a pool and you're, an elite, swimmer in a pool, you don't have to be fast. You just got to get there,
right.
you know. And in fact, I know a lot of us who are not fast. We get there when we get there.
Mm,
Um, but it doesn't matter your size is irrelevant.
mm,
So
yeah. I guess there are some, like I think Michael has a like a really big wingspan, and I know Duke Kahanamoku had massive feet and massive hands, and I see a lot of
yeah.
pro surfers are the same way. They've got there seems to be a body profile of shorter legs, longer torso, longer
Mm,
arms,
right. Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, that was Michael Phelps. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
one I remember seeing pictures of him in a magazine one time and how, his legs are kind of short and longer torso and a huge wingspan.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
makes sense. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of fascinating, all of it. So the mental fortitude, what did you say? The ocean is the great equalizer.
Mhm.
That's a really great bumper sticker. Um, so would you say that so the ocean, the water is your kind of place? Would you say that,
Abs-
well, I'm sorry?
Absolutely. I'm
Would you
more comfortable on water than I am on land.
on land, so you're kind of fit.
Gravity not my friend.
But would you say that is it being in the water that's your meditative state, or is it going the distance in there, like going for the longer
It's being
swim?
in the water. In the
Mm,
water, whether I'm on the water or underwater scuba diving, I just love the water.
mm,
I don't care if I'm on the surface or, 30 meters down. Either way, I just love the water. So,
yeah, yeah, I'm there with you.
yeah.
And I think a lot of our listeners are there. Um, yeah, pretty fascinating. Pretty fascinating. So you're doing this kind of work with helping other people swim. How many people actually swim these long distances a year?
Oh, so next week I'm going through the training to be an observer for the Catalina Channel Swimming Federation. Um, and I'm not sure how many people they have for this year. Um, sure the statistics. It's getting more and more popular.
Mm,
A lot of people are trying it now. A lot more than when I started. When I started, I was only number 272 to
mm,
swim the Catalina Channel in 2013, but now they're up to, I'm gosh, a lot more than that now. I'd have to look up the stats, but um, yeah, it's getting so much more popular, and there's a lot of demand for it, and a lot of people are doing it, and a lot of people start with relay
mm,
swims because relays, they don't cost as much, and they are still a lot of fun. Um,
right,
and it gives you a taste of, what it's like to swim the channel.
right.
Um, and so I'm helping with a relay team this year. I did a relay last year with another team of women who had never done it before. Some of them had never done it before, and yeah, so it's and supporting friends and friends of friends who are swimming the channel, Catalina Channel, um, and observing, probably doing some observing this year as well.
Yeah, I have a stat here from December of 2023 that said that there were 331 swimmers who have completed the Triple Crown. So
Yeah,
that's actually not that many people.
yeah. I'm number 226.
Wow, that's exciting. And I'm guessing there's going to be more people after this new movie comes out about the first woman who has swum the English Channel.
Gertrude Ederle, she's my hero. She's just amazing. This book that was written about her, young woman in the sea, is being made into a movie by Disney, and she's just the perfect Disney princess. I'm so excited to see the movie. Can't wait to see it.
No, but
Um,
there's actually another one that was I think it was filmed during COVID in Britain by a 19-year-old filmmaker that's supposed to come out this year
oh, really?
about yeah. Because I Googled last night. I'm like, I gotta watch a movie about this before I talk to her. Um, it's called
Oh, Intrepid Swim or something?
something like that because she was they didn't believe her because she was a woman, so she
Right.
swam a second time.
Is that Mercedes
Yes,
Benz? Right.
yes.
Yeah. 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 I haven't seen that one yet either.
I can't find it. I don't know where it is, but
Um,
it says 2024, so I'm guessing.
maybe it's not out yet.
Yeah,
Um, Maybe it's a UK film and it's not been released. I'm not sure. Yeah.
hopefully we get it.
I
I really
hope.
wanted to watch it last night.
Yeah. 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 Yeah, it's I know Mercedes is very, very famous over in the UK as well. And Gertrude was the first woman to swim the English Channel, and she was American. And so that's just going to be a really exciting story to
Wow.
watch. I read the book. The book, it's based on a book by the same title,
Hmm.
Young Woman in the Sea. And I read that book, and it's a great story. So looking forward to
Yeah, we'll put that right up next to Hemingway there, right?
that.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. Um,
Well, thank you.
anything you would like to further to talk about or share with us?
And no, I think it's just really important, if there's something you wanted to do for a long time, just go do it. Just
Yeah.
make a plan and get it done.
Mm,
Um, don't wait. My husband passed very suddenly last year,
mm,
in March of last year, and it was just a complete shock. And and it just really brought home to me the importance of just don't wait. Just don't
mm,
wait.
mm,
Um, pursue those dreams,
mm.
make a plan, talk to someone. If you want to talk to me anytime, it's my favorite just topic of discussion. So um, I will help you make a plan or put you in touch with whatever kind of coaching you need. I know people who coach remotely. But yeah, just make a plan,
Beautiful.
especially especially if you're, of a certain age, male or female. um Life is just so short. You never know
Mm,
what's coming down, and so it's important to just do what you want to do.
beautiful. And how can people find you? Social media?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook, LinkedIn. um I have Instagram, but I'm not really good at using it. um and good old email or text message is fine. So
Perfect.
yeah.
Perfect. Well, thank you. And we'll
Thank
see you in a
you.
couple of weeks, hopefully, and you'll give me
Yeah,
some
I'll let you
pointers.
know when I'm in Oahu.
Sounds great.
The 14th to the 21st. So,
Excellent.
yeah, great.
Take care. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you.
All righty. Bye bye.
Bye bye.